Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. The Coffee and Biscotti Show, Friday, June 11th, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, live from Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. I'm your host, Crew Mel Bellissimo, and it is an absolute pleasure to have you with us. The show is going to be awesome today. I have a real special guest. So let me give you some background. I'm a Toronto guy, and Toronto's different from Ottawa, our nation's capital. You know, coming to Ottawa 2.5 years ago, I noticed that there's a lot more influence of military. There's all three levels of policing here. There's the RCMP, there's the OPP, there's the municipal police. But you just see that there's a presence of military here, much different than in Toronto. In Toronto, I've met a few people who may have gone overseas or who served in the military, but I never really had like a lot of interaction. And that's powerful for me because today's guest is somebody who served our country and who's got a story. And my post was, this story today, folks, will be a story that will make your hair stand up on your arms. It's a story of trial and tribulation. It's a story of a man who grew up with mental illness, decided to join the military, was badly hurt, came back from the military, had two relationships fail, and hit rock bottom. And today, we are honored to be blessed by a friend of mine who has very graciously given up 90 minutes of his time to be with all of us today, to talk about how entrepreneurship and talk about how serving others and helping people with their own abundance, financial abundance, through blockchain and cryptocurrencies, and how this passion of his has helped him in changing the lives of others and changing his own. I am very honored and very reserved today to be in the presence of such a man. He is a friend, a brother. He's the kind of guy that is first to give you something, to share with you something. Maybe we should all take a page out of his book when we talk about giving without expecting anything in return. I mean, it doesn't get much more giving than you're willing to sacrifice your life for our beloved country. And so imagine how much love this man has to give. So wherever you are in the world, my friends, get off of your comfortable seat and please put your hands together for Lance, the crypto guru Jannack.
Thank you, Crew. Hi,
Lance.
I'm already emotional, so I forgive everyone if I get some tears during this show because it's, as much as I love to share my story, it's still hard. So, Crew's a friend and a brother more than anything else, but he's been a teacher too, and I encourage everyone to reach out to him about some coaching. He's helped me hit some revelations in my life, understanding of things, and made me a better man for that. So I'm excited to share my story. And again, this is going to be an emotional ride, and I'm hoping everyone learns something from it or can, get some help from this or soothing and understand that depression is never something that truly goes away, but it's a journey, and you can learn to build tools to help cope with it. But it's going to be a continuous effort. You have to always work on it.
That's wonderful, and what a wonderful way to start, Lance. I mean, you know, I think I tried to, in my intro, with my heart of hearts, explain what it must be like, because I can't possibly fathom what you've been through. And the fact that you're so brave and so courageous to come on to a platform like Coffee and the Biscotti Show and share your story of mental illness is really remarkable. And I just want to say that if it's your first time tuning in, then please understand that I created this platform because I wanted to share with the world the stories of the incredible people, our brothers and sisters that we could walk by down the street, that you don't know who they are. You don't know the journey that they've been through. You don't know what's in the skeleton closet. But that this platform would share with the world the life of passion that people lead, the life of transformation that people are living, and the bravery that people have to come on and share their story. And Lance, you are exactly that. You embody that. You are forthcoming of your trial and your tribulation with mental illness. And I just want you to start off like this, Lance, please. Can you please paint a picture for our friends and our audience in the Twitchiverse to just kind of like let them feel who Lance is?
Of course. So we'll start off with, the story of how things started off. And today was going to be Discovery too, because I'm going to be sharing things that, I've not really shared out loud, or maybe even my family or friends don't know. But it's the time to, let the skeletons out of the closet. So I definitely suffered from, onset depression as a child. And I think this stemmed from the fact that I came from, a broken household. And I want to start off by saying I love my parents, including the parent that I'm going to talk about first. But, I grew up with an alcoholic father who left my life at a very early age and wasn't present because he was in and out of prison. And I do believe because of this, I had onset depression. It was very hard for me as a child to understand that a father couldn't be there for you or fight for you. And that hit home hard. And I remember not really showing that I was hurting as a child. I was always happy. I know my mother and the stepfather that I was raised by, who's been an amazing person in my life, would say I was always that happy kid. So I used happiness as a shield and I hid behind it. And I know that at very early times, going back to the school that I went to as a kid, Leslie Park, I remember having a friend named Lee where I had told him I wanted to jump off of the bridge, which is the back. If anyone's ever visited Leslie Park in Nepean, there's a bridge that's in the back there. And I told him I wanted to jump off the bridge many times. I was an angry child, but I never showed anyone that. And I was definitely suffering and I was too scared to talk about it. As we all know, mental illness is not an easy thing to deal with. It's not an easy thing to talk about. And when we were younger, it was really not at all easy because it was just not something that was spoken about, and because people couldn't see it, they didn't believe it. So I think people were very scared to talk about this stuff. So as I went on as a child and a teenager, I had to suffer from ADHD. And I think that also contributed too, because it was very hard for me to communicate or to express my feelings because I was always so hyper. And, even Crew Mel has helped me with this. Even now as an adult, I get very excited. I talk fast. I can't express myself in the right way sometimes. And maybe it comes off the wrong way sometimes and people don't necessarily understand you. So instead of trying to understand you, they cast you to the side or they label you as a problem or you get picked on. I got bullied a lot because of this. So it was difficult early on. And then as a teenager, I went through life, like I said, and I was angry. And then I was sexually abused. And in my home, I was difficult for my parents, and in turn, my parents were difficult with me. I went through a lot of physical things in the house and mental, verbal things. So, and I know my parents also probably also suffered from mental illness too, because of the upbringing they had, and it just, it was all around. It was just double-edged swords everywhere as a kid, and I just didn't understand how to process stuff, and I didn't talk about it. So it led to me doing extreme things, drinking out of hand when I would go out with friends, just generally making bad decisions. And my parents gave me a choice, at 18, to either join the military or leave the house. And I opted for the military. And then the abuse continued, because if anyone's been in the military, it's not easy. There is a lot of mental breakdown things that happen that they put you through. And because of the state of mind that I was in, I passed all those checks when I first joined, but honestly, deep down inside, I was not prepared or ready for this. And then I got physically injured. So not only was I coupled with mental illness, I had a physical injury. So I had to get what they call a compartment syndrome surgery done on both my legs. It did not go well. And, it hurt. It hurt. I was suffering on many ways. And because of that suffering, it started impacting my first long-term relationship. And I do not blame that person anymore, but they could not cope with my issues. And they weren't there for me in the way that I needed them to be. So after that, 9 years of being with that person, that relationship ended. And during that period, I had a lot of difficulties. I had issues working. I had issues going to work. I had issues waking up. I had issues communicating. I pushed everyone away, my family included. I wasn't good to myself or people. And I still, at that period in my life, did not accept that I had mental illness, and I didn't talk about it publicly. I went to a doctor. I allowed them to give me medications, and that's how I coped. And it was, this goes back to an earlier conversation I had with Crew. Because I wasn't ready to heal, those medications only acted as a crutch, and the doctors were only a crutch because I had no way to cope or handle with mental illness, because I didn't know how to stand on my own 2 feet. Then life went on, and I was coasting. I went from job to job, which is very typical with people with mental illness, that they quit or get fired. It's not, or they don't work. It's one of those, typically those 3 things. I was not a high functioning depressed person at that time. So I just kept with the bare minimum, and I was okay with that. I had no drive. Then life went on, and I entered, I was single, and I partied and drank and did what I wanted and thought that this was great, and started heading towards that rock bottom stage of my life. And I had my first attempt at suicide during that period. And that's sort of when I would say I hit halfway through the ceiling. And I remember sleeping for, it was probably a month or 2 period where I honestly, all I did was sleep. I wasn't even working at the time. And I remember waking up one night and saying that I had to start doing something about it, because I had to stop punishing myself. And then I entered my second long-term relationship, which I probably shouldn't have. At the time, because I was still extremely broken from the PTSD that I was diagnosed with. So I was diagnosed with PTSD. And at that time, I had a child, and, I just did some things that I was not proud of. I was not the father or person I should have been at that time in my period in life. And I hit rock bottom. And I started using business, my entrepreneurship, my businesses to help build myself up. I used it as a driving force to allow myself to understand that I was worth something, that I was stronger than I had told myself I was. And I started working on myself. I started standing on my 2 feet, realizing my worth. I started to confront my issues without medications and doctors at the time. I had no choice to get better. I had no choice to get stronger. I had a child there, and I wanted to make sure that I would be a better person for her, as well as myself, most of all. And I knew that when I was going to enter that next chapter in life, if I wanted a long-term relationship and a good relationship with my family, and to go back and heal those, we'll call them, I always say I'm a wounded soul, but those holes in my soul, that I had to start approaching things. So during that period, I started doing a lot of self-help stuff. I started, reading YouTube videos. I would chant things to myself often in my head. I would focus on images or I had my pug at the time. I have a tattoo that's right here of my pug. She's the reason that I never left this earth, because during that time when I had attempted my suicide, I said I couldn't leave my dog behind. Ironically, the dog saved me. So she's always on my arm, and then, the next stages in life were that, my business started growing. And I started realizing, though, that I had been making another mistake, and that instead of focusing just on the business, I had to make sure that I was focusing on my family as well, and that I couldn't just hide behind my entrepreneurship, and to be a very balanced person, that I had to kind of talk about my mental illness, and I had to make sure that I was focusing on my life as well. And the next thing was I started focusing on my family life, because the relationship with the mother of my child had ended, and I started really going back and looking at some of the things that I had done. So, the big thing I tell people is that mental illness is something that will never go away. Don't ever be in denial and think that just because you're feeling well that you don't have to continuously work on yourself. You need to develop tools and a kit that's going to be there when you have those rough days. I still do have bad days. I still sometimes have bad thoughts, but I know that I'll never act on them. I know that I always have support, and I know that I'm strong, and that I'm worth something. And I encourage those that are going through this to talk about the experiences they've went through. Seek, medicine that's outside of conventional means too, so you can have coping mechanisms. If your medications wear off or aren't working, or you need increases, this stuff happens when you're going through mental illness. Your medications won't always work. Your doctors won't always be available for appointments. So you need to be strong as an individual as well. But getting help from other people is okay, but you need to make sure that you're helping yourself as well. And that it's okay to talk about these things. Don't be ashamed. If you don't want to, you don't have to, but you should be able to talk about it if you want. It's not something that anyone can judge you on, or they have the right to judge on. And some of the healing process that I'm doing now is I've went back on a lot of my relationships that are still close and home to me, and I've apologized to my family for some of the ways that I acted, and I've forgiven those family members that were also abusive towards me, and because if I hold on to any grudges, that baggage will not leave. I'm even actually going to be having a conversation with my biological father in the coming weeks, where I tell him I love him, I forgive him, and that I'm thankful for the things that he taught me. This man may have not have been in my life, but he taught me how to be something that no other person could have, and to be here for my daughter, that I'll always be a father. He may not have been here for me, but he did teach me that. So I'm going to tell this man that, and I will forgive him and continue a relationship with him. Because if I hold on to any resentments, the depression will hold on to me. So I think that's really the journey, and it's just the story continues, because every day you're still healing, and there's still work to be done. Like I said, you have to constantly work on depression. It's just not something that ever leaves. It's something that you've got to continue building those toolkits, and so you can be strong and be prepared for those days that those waves are high, and you're going to have hard days, but you're going to be okay, and you're going to get through them. So surround yourself with good people too. that's the best advice I can give you, to positive people, people that you know that will support you and listen to you. And it's extremely important that when you have mental illness that you do that, that you're okay with pushing away those relationships or an energy that's bad for you, and keep it at a distance if you can. Yeah. So I think that's the story, crew.
Holy shit. Like, you know, it's funny. You get into this energy of being a host, and you know, I want to do a good job on the show. Lance, I really, you know, Josh is here, Poutine Nation, and he's always there to support me and support the show.
My favorite food, by the way, it's my kryptonite.
There you go, Poutine Nation. You have a fan, buddy. But I have to tell you this, Lance, that I'm speechless. Like, I don't really even know what to say. I don't know that if you feel like, if you've listened to the words that you just said with your heart and not with your ears, you just stay quiet. I kind of feel like it's going to be a rough day for the Coach Crew Mel show today, because I really felt your story, Lance. I really felt it. I felt like, man, like, I don't know, those in the audience, maybe you have something to share. I'm going to read out what one of the most incredible women that I know, in Sandra Mio, that she writes. Let me just get to it, because I think it's so worthy of sharing. Strength comes from showing up despite the pain or fear, and going through the struggle, the endurance, and then building on that to keep going forward and upward. Thank you for sharing your incredible story. Much love. I mean, this is the truth, man. This is the truth, Lance. Yes. I don't know what to say.
It's a joke I always say, sharing is caring. The more people that share about their mental illness, the stronger people will be. It's important to share. You don't know who you're going to relate to if you don't, or who you're going to help by just a simple sentence or story. No one's alone, but often when you're in depression, you do feel you're alone, or people won't understand you. But the big thing I tell people is that when you're with depression, I mean, people suffer depression in different ways, but we can definitely relate to each other. Our story is going to be different in every case, but you know, it's important to talk. You know, it's a healing process. When you say it out loud, you make it real. When you write it down, you make it real. I often make notes, or you know, I still see my psychotherapist, and I write everything down. So, because as soon as I write it down, it's real. And I have some guidance as to what I'm going to talk to. So I encourage that too. If you're not doing this, is create a journal or even notes of how you're feeling or what you're going through or what you want to talk about.
Well, and I want to share with you, Lance, that one of our guests in the chat is a woman who has a great stream on Twitch, and her handle is Jennifer. And I would really love for her to write in the chat, because I know that she has used this platform, to help a lot of people with mental illness. So Jennifer, I just want you to know that I'm super glad you're here. I would love for you to write in the chat, and thank you for being here.
Yes, thank you, everyone.
It's really quite an amazing thing. I mean, I don't even know where to start unpacking. I mean, there's just so much, bro. I don't even know where to start. Like, so I guess that the first thing that comes to mind, when you were 18, you had to make a decision of leaving the house or going to the military. What was the reason? Like what happened? Why that decision?
Honestly, I hate to say this, but I had some sort of delusion in my head that if I joined the military, that I would become some sort of hero, and that they would save me, not realizing that the type of mental and physical aptitude that you'd be walking into. And I thought that, this would be a new way of beginning a family and also starting a family, because I was in that first long-term relationship. But I did look at it very naively, and I didn't probably understand what I was walking into also well. So I used it as a crutch as well. I thought I would solve my problems, but it definitely didn't. It really just compounded onto them. I've learned a lot from what I learned when I served. It did make me a stronger person in different ways, but it also broke me down in a lot of ways too. But I definitely would have to say, if you're going to do something like that, make sure you're mentally prepared and really honestly ask yourself if you're sure you want to do that. Don't do it for other people. Do it for yourself. Don't think that it's going to be some lavish love story. It's work, and it's hard work, and it's not something that everyone can do.
Well, it's so funny because, the only thing that I can relate to that, Lance, is what it was like to bring a guy to the UFC and what the kind of work involved. Like, everybody thinks that you're going out and partying and you get all the girls or you get all the boys and all of a sudden, like, you're this celebrity. But the truth is, guys, is the grind is tough. That's why they're elite athletes, because it takes a special character to be able to make training a career. And I've been very blessed, Lance, in my life that I had an opportunity to go and train professionally in Thailand and spend, almost 2 years out there, where 6 hours a day was training, 3 hours in the morning and 3 hours at night. And you didn't really have a lot of energy for much. So that's the only thing that I can relate it to. And of course, I love that you paint a picture of this, this military. And that's why I say you're so brave, because you talk about it from the perspective that now you looked at yourself, you looked at your life and said, yeah, I had this delusion that I was going to be like, Bronze Cross or Purple Heart or whatever they give in the military. And all of a sudden I'm going to be a hero and I'm going to be revered. And the truth is that you're so honest about it. It's remarkable. Like, Lance, I don't meet a lot of people that are this honest. That's the truth. I don't meet a lot of people that are willing to come and share their story, and really look at themselves and say, yeah, this is the way I was, and I'm no longer that person, and I'm glad I'm no longer that person. That's powerful, bro. That's such a powerful thing.
The more truthful you are of the things you've done or how you've acted, or the mistakes you've made, the more you'll understand how not to do those things again. So truth is power. It's also forgiveness. So I decided during my recovery process that it was no holds bar. It was I'm going to let everything out. So.
Yeah.
Sorry, crew. 1 second here. We've got these automatic vacuums in this office, and one of them went off. And I'm not
Yeah, go ahead. And thank you, Jennifer, for your honesty and just for being here. I'm truly grateful. And of course, I want to send a shout out to everybody that's watching, to my girl, the rum cake queen, and Sandro Mio, of course. Thank you all for being here. But Lance, I don't want to talk about the painful stuff. I also want to talk about the transformation. Was there a aha moment? Was there what Dr. Dyer calls a quantum moment for you?
There was.
What was it?
It's a bit of I still get chills talking about it, but I had explained it at one point. During my first divorce, I hit my first, we'll say, rock bottom stage. And I remember being at my sister's, my sister Sherry. She's been a beautiful person in my life. And, she had her own struggles, but she was always there for me. But I remember sleeping there one night, and I felt like something touched me, or maybe I was ready to let go of all the, pardon me, but damage that had happened in my life. And I remember those days after where I felt like I was healing and I was stronger. And I still can't contribute as to what happened that night or why. But that's definitely when my healing started. And I was a lot braver, and I was able to talk about it out loud. So, and I'll always be appreciative for that night, because honestly, I don't know where I would have been without it happening. So,
yeah, yeah. Well, whatever the journey is, Lance, man, have you ever come around full circle? You know, and maybe we can start talking a little bit about that, because that's become a big part of your life. Tell me a little bit about, you know, your entrepreneurship life. What was that like? You know, what's it like for you? Because you have, I think it's called Media Prime, correct?
Yeah, Media Prime, where we do telecom products. And then I have the, you know, my love of my life now, crypto, because honestly, the joke I always say that it's very much like my life. It's very volatile, and because of the volatility in it, I understand it very well. And I've done very good at identifying risks and purchasing the right things and helping others do that as well. And I'm also okay with the volatility, because I don't get afraid by that. And part of what we do at CKG is also giving people the tools as people that are trading in this, to be able to brave that storm, because it's going to be something that happens when you're in crypto, which is normal. But if you're not strong enough to handle the volatility, it can be very hard on you. So I help encourage those that are doing it. So, you know, we're there for the people that are part of the community as well. But entrepreneurship, it's helped build me up. I mean, I use a lot of the things that are encouraging entrepreneurship to help me on a personal level as well. And I was good at it because I was so driven by it, that, and I had given myself no choice to be successful, because I had a daughter to provide for, and I wanted to make sure that I was never as weak as I was before. And just because of that, I've done well at it, because I've got that mindset that I'm all, you know, I can never give up. I'm going to do well. You know, and I've set some clear goals, and I've accomplished them, and I still set goals and dreams. I always joke around and say that I set unrealistic, realistic goals, meaning, for example, my first year in my business, I said I would earn $20,000, and everyone else around me thought I was crazy, because I was quitting the government at the time to run the businesses, and I made $100,000 in that first year. I had given myself no choice, and I still don't. I have a lot of projects going on the go, and I have some dreams, and you know, some new things that I'm going to accomplish, and I will. So entrepreneurship's just honestly helped me be a better father, you know, a better provider, you know, a better husband, and now I'm in a new relationship that I love. You know, I'm there for her, and she's there for me. Nothing's ever easy, of course. Even now we have our struggles, but we're unwilling to quit. And she's an entrepreneur and a businesswoman as well. So we're both strong-headed now. And I think that was the big part of what I needed to find in my life. I needed to find that strength within my mind. So I have, and I won't let go of it. So, and I'm going to continue building these businesses, and they're going to be great tools in my life. You know, they're tools for me. They're tools to help me be a stronger person, because I wake up every day and I know what I need to do.
I mean, I'd like to talk more about it, because the truth is that those listening, if you want to know more about blockchain and cryptocurrencies, you know, Lance, could you take us through maybe some definition? Could you explain to our friends in the audience what's a blockchain? What's cryptocurrency?
So, blockchain's a little more complicated thing. So I think that's something that someone you know, it's more of that's something you want on YouTube, and I probably watch some videos if you want to learn about blockchain, because it's more for people to code. But cryptocurrency as a whole is a digital currency. It is an evolution. You know, digital currencies are becoming very dominant. They're not going anywhere, but it's a peer-to-peer currency. It's much harder to manipulate. There are a lot of misconceptions around it, that it was used for the black market or whatever it is. That's not the case. Look, many large corporations are adopting it into their investments. You know, we have got El Salvador that just took it as legal currency. The reason why they're going to do that is they're strengthening their country. They're going to use geothermal energy to farm it. It's going to help they're impoverished state. I mean, there's over 160 billion, forgive me if I'm not exactly correct with that number, that don't have access to banks. Cryptocurrency can be accessed by anyone with a cell phone. So it helps, you know, the impoverished areas too. So yeah, it's a digital currency. It's conventionally like regular fiat, but nothing physically tangible. So.
Jennifer was saying, my brain isn't exactly coming, but I heard peer-to-peer.
So a peer-to-peer essentially means, Jen, that the control is in the owner's hands. So when it comes to your current currency systems that we're talking about, like government regulated stuff, is that fiat, yes, being regular money, you know, stimulus checks or whatever it can be printed. Money grows on trees. With cryptocurrencies, there's typically an amount of volume. There's, you know what's there, and it's owned by you and controlled by you. It can be stored offline, so it cannot be taken. So it's just a more modern way of looking at currencies. And cryptocurrencies are just growing right now. Like they're honestly, Bitcoin is, you know, the most widely heard name. I mean, at one point it was worth nothing, and now it's, I think the current Canadian rate, if we look real quick, just on today, you know, to give people an example, you know, it's worth almost $45,000. It's insane. So.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that I wanted to just say that, yeah, we kind of switched gears because, you know, what I wanted to do, Lance, is really also get some education, you know, in terms of like provide the audience with something, you know. So I mean, we can always flip back to, you know, the mental health stories and the challenges and the tribulations, but I wanted to provide, and you're the best guy for it. Everybody's talking about crypto. You know, Elon Musk is in the news about crypto and talking about a cryptocurrency that he was backing, and then of course you could buy a Tesla with a crypto, and maybe now you can't. And there's so much happening in this world.
There's a lot going on. There's a lot of news about it. It's all over mainstream media.
So what kind of advice, Lance, would you give to somebody? Like, I don't know anything about crypto. If you said, you know, I'm working with you with it, and of course I feel very honored because God knows if you didn't tell me what to do, I wouldn't know.
Exactly. I mean, the best advice I can give it to it is don't go into it if you don't know what you're doing. Make sure that you're doing your research, that you're watching YouTube videos, or you're seeking some guidance from someone that's going to be able to help you, you know, make the right decisions. Because there's a lot of misconceptions, and it's a volatile market, like I keep on saying. But there's a lot of money and stability and long-term future that can be made out of this. The amount of money that you'd make off of this when it comes to conventional investing is nowhere near it. Because I mean, you know, to give an example with Denis, that's part of our group, he put in money this week and made he has a value that he put in was $5,000. He made $770 during the dip because it's been a hard month, which was a 10% return in one day. I think the highest you can get from a bank, forgive me if I'm wrong, again, I'm no financial advisor, is 4%. So it's pretty insane.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah.
So just because there was a question in the audience, Lance, where can people like find you? Like, I don't know that there's.
We have a Facebook page. We have a Facebook page, Crypto Knowledge and Gains. CKG is the short form for what we're called. If you look at Facebook, you'll find me. So Crypto Knowledge and Gains.
Crypto
I
Knowledge
can send a
and
link
Gains
out here in the group as well. I'll do that right now, everyone.
Please, that would be great.
You know, so this is a community. I want to make sure I'm clear on this. You know, our bots help people make the proper choices in terms of knowing what to buy, what to sell, what to hold. So we created bots that help track the volatility in the market. And the reason why I did that is that when I had first started off at this, I had made a lot of mistakes where I purchased the wrong things at the wrong times, and I did lose money. Now I'm doing very well, but it took time to learn how to do this stuff. So I'm just trying
so essentially, Lance, just to be clear, you actually help and run a group called, is it Gains or Games?
Crypto knowledge and gains. So, crew, I'm not used to this platform, so what I'm going to do is private message you the link, and then you can send it back out.
Okay, let me see if I can copy and paste it for sure. CKG Gurus. Okay, let me see if I can copy that and do it for you. That's awesome. Thanks, brother. I appreciate it.
And anyone could reach out to me at this email as well. You're more than welcome to also call me. I'll share my number. I have no problems with that. Once you reach out to my email, and we can talk over the phone as well. So,
because what's interesting about this is that, so Lance, what you've done is you've created a platform for people to come, and it's on something, if I'm not mistaken, what's the app called? Telegram, I think it's called.
Telegram. Well, the thing I tell people that's unique about this is that knowledge is power. So essentially what we've created is communal knowledge, as well as the AI, the bots, help us make better decisions, because obviously the human mind can only do so much. So with the group helping and pulling together, the bots coming in and helping us make better decisions, and my mind and such working together, we just make smarter choices. So it helps out a lot.
And just to be clear, like, this whole crypto stuff, there's nothing illegal about it. This is a legitimate.
Crypto's not illegal. There are some steps that someone has to take when they're pulling funds out from the gains that they get. Just get a good accountant kind of thing. If you're doing that, you pay 20%. Again, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm going to disclaim that. I believe it's 20% when you pull out your profits out of your wallet, when you put it back into your fiat, so your bank account. Okay. So there are other ways to spend cryptocurrencies through credit cards and such now. I help people find those things as we're going through this journey. And I think a big part of this is that mental health comes into play with this, because, again, you have to be prepared for the volatility of what you're getting into. And if you are, and you know what you're doing, you'll make a lot of money, but it's good to have a group to sit back on and talk to whenever things are rough. It's been a rough month in crypto this month. Things have been down, which has been a good opportunity to buy. This is the best month to buy.
Yeah, so Jennifer's.
No, it's not insured through the banks, but honestly, the only mistake that anyone can make that's getting into cryptocurrencies right now is sell. It's something that we hold close in the group, and we always we always chant and say, as long as you're holding on right now to the cryptocurrencies and you're purchasing the right ones, you're not going to lose a lot of money. Exactly what Putin Nation said. HODL is something that we often say, and we say it a lot. So HODL means hold. If you're not holding. If you're holding, you're not going to lose your money right now. Not if you're making the right purchase decisions. Again, there are cryptos you buy and cryptos you don't. Cryptos that are safe and cryptos that are not. It's just like the real world. I can go out and purchase one brand of a manufacturer and it might be good, and one brand of a manufacturer might be better. The same rules apply when it comes to these cryptocurrencies or anything else in life, right? So you just have to make the right decisions and make sure you're doing your research. The group helps with that. And then we're just there to, to support each other and to bounce information off of each other. So
yeah, and I want to open up the chat for everybody who's watching, just to kind of, say that if you have any questions about cryptocurrencies, to please put them in the chat. But I want to sort of switch gears again. So Lance, how did this help you? How does doing cryptocurrencies help you when you talk about that it was your entrepreneurship that helped you get through PTSD and mental illness?
So for myself, I've made it a full-time job. So what I often do is I'm looking at charts and I'm interpreting things and I'm sticking my head down, so it keeps me busy. And it's giving me a lot of financial freedom as well, which is less stress in our house, and obviously it allows for some freedom. And I've just genuinely enjoyed it. I love evolution, and I think that I've always been good at identifying when things are going to be big or they're going to be adopted. And it was like when I saw the fidget spinners, I knew they'd be big. Cryptocurrencies are just starting. They're going to be a lot larger. And some of the projects that I'm working on with cryptocurrencies involve clean energy. Which I'm that hits home with us. That's what my wife works in, and she works in clean energy. And we're actually using some of that background in order to fuel into the crypto that we're doing, in order to bring some new projects to help fuel clean energy more. So I've just, honestly, it just ended up working out so well that crypto ended up hitting home for us on many levels, and personally, and even for my house, it applies to a lot of things that my wife is doing, and I've got some great plans with crypto to give back to people as well. Crypto was made for the people, by the people, to empower the people. So if anyone understands the real understanding what crypto was created for, there's a lot of misunderstanding as to what crypto is for, but that's what crypto was for, and that's what it's meant to be used for, and what I'll use it for. I'm going to eventually create my own token, and I have a big plan behind what I'm going to use that cryptocurrency token to do. I can't disclose it, obviously, because it's a big plan, but it's coming.
So, see, Lance, this is all very interesting to me, because I always take, as a metaphysical student, as a person who, I consider myself to be a very spiritual person, a spiritual teacher in some regard. I love that the message here, under the underlining message is that you used entrepreneurship to, maybe as an opportunity to focus on something. So somebody maybe that has PTSD, having that focus on something that you're passionate about is very helpful. But also, the powerful thing for me is that you're using this and doing this because you want to help people. You want to help people with their finances. You believe in the product. You believe in what these cryptocurrencies are doing for the world. And just before you say, I just want to reiterate here, my friends in the audience, what other purpose do you think there is for us to be here? What's the purpose? The ascended masters that walked this planet said, all you need to do is, you don't have to learn anything. You just have to remember who you are. Remember who you are, leverage your superpowers, leverage your God-given talents. And what are you leveraging them to do? To solve some human problem, but more importantly, to help thy brothers and sisters. And I really love that about what you're doing, because I've watched you. I'm not only the host, I'm a client, right? So I can be with you, and you're teaching. And
I like Putin Nation's. He's very excited about this. I like this.
Yeah,
so,
well, he's
to keep it simple. We could. The reality is that we could create a Clarity coin. No joke. So I love Lance's bot talk attached the Twitch bot to the. I love it. Okay, so NFTs, to keep it simple, everyone, cryptocurrencies are a currency. NFTs, I think I wouldn't go into unless you understand what a cryptocurrency is in the first place. So you shouldn't be investing in those unless you do, because they are attached to photos, videos, audio, and other types of digital files. So like Elon Musk's wife has been selling NFTs, so she's been selling like digital photos and stuff like that. There's money to be made there too, but I think that NFTs are a little more complicated for someone that's maybe getting into this. So it's not something I would necessarily recommend someone to do without any guidance. So cryptocurrencies, there's the best advice I can give you is, even if you don't do what CKG is doing and become a part of that, is if you buy some Bitcoin and Ethereum, probably the best two things to buy, hold on to them. HODL them for dear life, because they're going to be worth a lot more than they're worth right now in the coming year. And in the coming 10 years, I'm sure they'll 100 times what they're worth. And it could be even larger than this. We don't know where this is going to go. But I do know that it's going to go up. So if you're going to get into this, just without any advice, hold on for dear life. Yeah, exactly. Just buy and hold on. So there are better ways, obviously, of making money off of this. But if you're at least not going to join a program like CKG, then just buy some Bitcoin and Ethereum and hold on to it with your life. So
HODL. Now I got what it meant.
Yes.
The acronym. Hold on for dear life.
Yeah. It's like hold on to it with your life.
Yeah. Right on. And so Lance, like what is it? What for example drew you to this? Like I still am a little bit of a loss. I'm not going to lie. I really don't know. I understand it's a digital currency. I
I saw the opportunity within it, and I understood the what it was created for in terms of it being for the people, by the people, to give more control to the users' hands. And that's what's intrigued me, because I'm a military boy. I'm a veteran. I gave all of my control to someone at once, and I guess that was the fact that I could take back some control and put more into my hands that kind of attracted me to it.
Nice.
And then I ended up buying some, ironically, and it just went up really fast. And then I was like, "Ooh, this is really real." People were really serious about this. And then I just started doing a lot of my own research and I just dove in. I didn't ever look back, and now I'm always on the charts. I'm always watching YouTube videos. I'm always learning. I'm actually going to be doing a blockchain development course by DAP University, because I have some ideas to create some stuff on the blockchain. So I'll be bringing some other projects from the blockchain as well. So that's where everything's kind of created. Everyone's starting to understand. I'm not going to go in depth with a blockchain definition, because I think it will just confuse people. But the blockchain can be used to do some really innovative, unique things, like creating smart contracts, like we are used to contracts that we have in the real world, but being smart, meaning digital. Creating marketplaces and all kinds of stuff like this. So it's an evolution. It's the blockchain, cryptocurrencies will change how the world works. And there's still, I don't think we understand how much application they're going to have. And even my brain can't grasp everything around it, because I think that there's just so much to come. So I'm just trying to keep my feet on the ground, so I can catch all those, those new things, and become a part as much of it as I can. Like I said, I've got a lot of projects that are going to come out and people will be made aware of once I have them going. So I'll be entering a much more of the crypto space in terms of being much more involved with some of these projects. So it's some exciting stuff. It just genuinely excites me. I love it. So it's a passion now.
Yeah, because the other thing that I wanted to ask you, Lance, is that like somebody explained this to me once, that the reason why all of this came to be too is because our own financial system, the capitalist system, is in hot water. We've just come through a pandemic, and the government is printing money like a ton of money.
I think I want to disclaimer again, I'm no politician, no financial advisor, but I mean, if anyone wants to be honest, we can't discredit the fact that the financial institution is struggling, and that there have been a lot of ups and downs over the last 25 years, crashes and not. And that I think there has been some lost faith in humanity with the government, and that people are understanding that they do not want to give all their control to one person anymore, or to one entity, or even to the banks, because unfortunately, money is being printed as if it grows on trees. And if we continue doing that and allowing the system to be manipulated like it is, and the wrong people to have that money, I don't think we could ever expect that our world's going to get any better. So I do think cryptocurrencies allow for a change in that narrative, and that they do have a lot of opportunity to make the world a better place, given the right use for the right things. So maybe
like using clean energy
to create. Yes.
Maybe Poutine Nation is right. I should start doing my coaching business by accepting crypto instead of regular.
You'd be very smart to accept crypto as a payment for your business.
So I want to I want to read what.
I'll read that if you want.
Please,
so this is the best crack I took at explaining the blockchain last night as an analogy. Imagine everything you did was recorded. You're at the Major League Baseball game and catch the ball. Everyone in the stadium takes a picture of catching the ball. It makes it virtually impossible for you to turn around tomorrow and claim that you didn't catch the ball, because you haven't.
You'd have to delete it off.
You'd have to delete it for tens of thousands of cell phones. Exactly. It's a good example. Once it's tangible, once it's there, it's there. So it's hard to.
Right on, Josh.
Yeah, that's a good way to explain it. That's a nice analogy. I like that. So we do a lot of this stuff, guys, just to explain in CKG. We talk about all these things, and I do weekly calls as well, privately and within the group. And we're going to continue discovering this stuff, and a lot of these terms are identified. So,
Lance, the Warren Buffett of crypto.
That's my father. Hey, Dad.
Right on.
I'm really happy that you made it out.
That's awesome.
That's cool. Yeah, my dad. This is my dad, everyone. He's the
Welcome,
reason I'm the man I
welcome.
am today. So if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be as strong as I am. And he's taught me a lot.
That's wonderful. Well, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being here. Lance, is there something that you would share to you know to like say would you give a little hint as to what's happening in the crypto world, sort of like a freebie, if you will?
I think that, again, the best advice I can give someone right now is that because Bitcoin and Ethereum are so low, because of there's been a lot of FUD, we call it fear, over the last month. The market's been manipulated, obviously, in a sense that people are trying to create fear to lower the price, so the big, what we call whales, can buy. So the people that have a lot of money, they can go up and scoop up a lot of it at once. Is that buy your Bitcoin now and your Ethereum and just hold on to it. Like if you don't, you're going to kick yourself in the butt. Because the people who didn't 10 years ago, that were able to get them at pretend at $1,000, now have a $45,000 Bitcoin in their pocket, even with it being down. So buy it and hold on to it. And if there's a couple other names I'm going to throw out there, XRP, Matic, ADA, these are cryptos that you want to buy right now. I'm not going to hide what you should buy, even if you're not a part of CKG, because the whole point of crypto is to help everyone. So, these are ones that I would buy as an example and just hold on to them.
Take notes, and then again, folks.
Yes, take notes, because this is just the beginning. And trust me when I say that we're about to see a much larger evolution within the world because of cryptocurrencies. El Salvador is a big example. They made it legal tender so they could use their geothermal energy to create more stability and wealth within their country. They're not going to be the first ones. Yes, exactly. Yeah, I've known actually two people that have sold their homes for roughly about 350 to 600,000 Canadian. One was in the US, one was in Canada, and they made enough money off of their sale of their house to go buy houses overseas and to live like kings and queens. So it's and there's news every week about different people purchasing at the right times or right amounts that have made them millionaires. It's again, not a financial advisor by any sense, but if anyone wants to deny what the media is showing, they can't. So it's someone can it's okay to be scared of stuff that's change. People didn't like credit cards, they didn't like e-transfers. They're still here. They're not going anywhere. So this is the same case. If not, the only difference here is I do believe that they'll be bigger than anything else we've seen. So, and they'll stake a place in history. Like they're going to be here. They're going to be part of our system. Look, there's already, yeah.
What I was going to say, just to kind of give some perspective. If I remember correctly, Lance, when I made my first purchase of crypto, I remember Bitcoin being at 60,000. And you said what? It's what today? 40?
45. 45. Yeah, 45.
Yeah. So,
and you don't have to worry because it's down right now, but it's going to go back up. Because by the end of the year, I guarantee you, people can quote me on this, we'll be past 100,000 Canadian on the cost of Bitcoin. So watch and see. I'm not I always joke around, I call him Elon, but I think Elon is playing the market to his advantage, in that in no doubt will someone with his mind and technology not get directly involved with cryptocurrencies, even though he says he doesn't one day and does one day. I think there is a grand scheme behind this, and that I do believe that he'll either adopt a token on himself, calling it whatever he wants as a joke. I wouldn't be surprised if he takes the meme and calls it Elon just to screw with people. But the man will adopt something, whether it's Ethereum or Dodge coming into Ethereum and him adopting this. But I guarantee you that this man is going to definitely take a greater stake of cryptocurrencies. And when one day it's a hard decision for him, because there's a lot of, again, fear created around cryptocurrencies, that it uses more energy than anything else in the world. That's not the fact. That people don't understand that going after coal or gold and stuff like this actually uses just as much energy, if not more. Again, I'm no scientist or anything like that, but if you do your research, you'll understand that cryptocurrencies don't use the most amount of energy in the world. That's for sure. Do they use a lot of energy? They do, but a lot of cryptocurrencies are going towards green energy projects anyways. So they're using solar and different types of energy to farm the cryptocurrency. So again, I think as cryptocurrency is evolving and it's meant to do good things, that you're going to see a lot more of that. So I think a lot of that fear around the energy that's used will go away at some point. I mean, Canada is going to be releasing its first, car that actually farms cryptocurrency, I believe, in the next year or two. This is just an example of where the world's going. So imagine you're driving your car and you're earning cryptocurrency as you're driving it. So yeah.
There's a question, Lance, from Putin Nation. Is it good advice for people to get themselves a free MEW, MEW wallet?
I use ShakePay, crypto.com, and I personally have my own cold storage wallet. So I haven't used that. Yet, but I'll definitely come back with some information on that and then share it with my group, and then I'll have it on my public profile as well. So, but personally, that's what what kind of wallets I'm using right now. So
there you go.
Yeah, ShakePay, crypto.com, and I have my own cold wallet. So if anyone wants to know what cold wallet is, it's just like offline storage for your crypto. I own a couple of Bitcoins, so I do keep them offline to keep them secure. So, and I use the elliptical cold wallets. That's the cold wallet of choice that I like. So, yeah.
Wow, it's like a whole nother language, man.
It is. There's like a lot to learn.
Has a hard wallet too, just asking for those with no wallets.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah.
There you go. See, even Josh, our beloved moderator.
Josh and I are gonna have to talk privately because I like it.
Josh, it looks like you have to have a talk over here, my friend, because like you can see, like I don't even know what to ask because it's so foreign to me, But I love.
You're never gonna know everything when it comes to this crypto world as well. Like as much as I'm delved in it full time and stuff like that, I'm still learning every day, and that's a part of like doing this is that you have to continuously learn if you want to stay ahead of the game. So.
Well, if it's any consolation, my friends, if you're in the audience and you've been interested in learning about crypto, in getting involved, you've watched people make money. I know that, Josh, you told me a story of, and I think that's the one that you were sharing, that there was a couple who sold their house, and as opposed to buying anything, they basically put all the money that they made in the sale of the house towards a cryptocurrency. And how long did it take before they sort of struck it rich?
Who is this Josh's story or mine?
No, yours, the one that you
mine?
were telling me,
this person was like within months they had made millions. So they just literally left Canada, and one of them's in a Spanish country. I don't know exactly where, but this was actually my godfather's sister's relative. And then we had a person where they have one of the Bitcoin machines. We know the owner, and he said that one of his clients that we knew mutually went in there and sold their house, and now they made millions. They're gone. They're not in Canada anymore. So they were in Costa Rica, I think they moved, and they that's where they bought their new house, and they're living on a beach there and everything like that. It's crazy. So, I mean, that's my goal. Hopefully, I'm doing well right now. I mean, I've definitely tripled what I put in at this point. And I'm going to keep on growing it. Every week it's a different week. 3 weeks ago, I had shared posts where I bought in and I doubled what I had put in. It's not always going to happen like that again. I want to make sure that's clear. The goal is that you're doing this long term. It's not a race, but there will be times where, ironically enough, you'll buy in and you'll double what you put in, or sometimes what they call 5 exit or 100 exit. Meaning 5 times it or 100 times it. It can happen. It's not unlikely. You can lose money too if you're not careful though. So you got to make sure you're careful. You got to buy the right things. So
amazing. I love this, Josh. Lance. I'm
really a big advice actually going back to this is never, ever, ever sell. Never sell if you're down. Don't look like you're down. Don't look at your numbers and think you're down when you're down because you're not unless you sold. That's the only time you're losing. Okay. If you bought the right cryptos, they're going to go down. Sometimes you'll sit at what we call a negative. But if you don't sell and you just hold on and let the FUD, so the fear go away, and let the market restabilize, you'll go back into your profits and you'll start gaining more. There are some proven trading methods that we teach people through CKG in order, what to do with those profits and how to reinvest in them. What to do to maximize and compound the most, and that's part of what we do. So,
well. Here's what I'm going to say, Lance. I love this because
you cannot make emotional decisions.
Yeah, of course. And what I love about this is that I just look at it from the perspective of passion, bro. So Tuan is the gangster Buddha for Dude Buddha, our anonymous invite only space for men, and I'm the passion Buddha, because I've always lived my life with this idea that if I was going to do something for 50, 60, 70 hours a week, I had to love to do it. And just watching you go, feeling your energy, the joy, the passion that you have in this business, in helping others, in sharing your story, in all of this is really remarkable. So, I mean, it's pretty simple to me. My friends, if you want to learn something about crypto, or if you're interested, you know who to call. You need to call the crypto guru. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank you, Lance.
I just love what I'm doing. Like, if anyone wants guidance and assistance, you know, the AI and bots that we've created in the Telegram program will help. Josh is right. You only invest what you can, and you just grow it from there. It just takes time. But
so
with patience,
what can you invest? What can you invest, Lance? Like, can you start it? Like, if there's somebody came in and said, "Look, I want to start off,"
it could
Lance,
be $10, $100, $500. Honestly, I've seen all walks of life when it comes to how much you're going to invest. So I've known people that invested $10 and they made $100, and then they reinvested the $100 and they built from there. I've known some people like Denny that went in. You know, my buddy went in at $5,000 this week, made his $800, put that $800 back into buying more. You know, it's everyone's risk levels are different. You go based upon whatever your risk level is. There's no wrong number. It's you no matter what. If you own some, you're making the right choice. That's the way I see it.
Right.
So, yeah.
Awesome, super stuff, bro. And so, what are like? Can you share a little bit, Lance, about what's in the future for Lance, the crypto guru, and what's happening, and you know,
0 wouldn't be a good number. That's for sure. So,
that's true.
Like I said, I'm working with some. My goal next is to work with clean energy in terms of you know, working with crypto. So I can't necessarily talk about the entire details of the project, but was to say that clean energy will be working with my crypto world in order to adapt into a new business and allowing me to grow further and bring some more stability financially into my life, and not only that, the CKG members' lives, because they'll have an opportunity to get involved in this. And then, you know, I have some ideas for the blockchain in terms of creating some stuff off of the blockchain that will allow, you know, Canada and other people to benefit from it. You know, there's some beautiful things that we've done with crypto, and a lot, you know, secure things as well. You know, with the smart contracts are a different way of looking at, you know, agreements between people. So my goal is to use those smart contracts to bring, again, a different type of way of purchasing and buying things for people. Project that's going to be coming. You know, I'll be releasing that to the general public once it's done. Mm-hmm. And I know that it's going to be a big thing, you know, so, and then who knows where life's going to go from here? Maybe, who knows what's next? So,
well, I'm getting in from ground zero, just so that we're very clear. I'm getting in at ground zero, baby.
Yeah.
That's wonderful, Lance. And you know, is there something that, you know, just to kind of change gears from business for a moment, just to kind of talk about, you know, what advice could you give if somebody was listening? And, you know, I know that there's someone very special to me, the Rum Cake Queen. I know that her son suffered from mental illness, and she actually wrote in the chat, Lance, that her son used the outdoors, the idea of gardening and planting and feeding the birds, and how positive that was.
I am often near water. I love water. Water helps me, and it's actually a proven thing with people with depression that it helps slow down your mind so you can get into that creative thought process, which really helps you when you have depression. But I think going back to something we talked about before the slow start is that you need to own your depression and not be it. So what I mean by that is that you need to say that I have depression, but I am not depression. It's a big thing to grasp your mind around. So that way, you know, you're not owned by it, you know, so, and understanding that, you need to build that toolkit. So whatever it is, if it's focus images, if it's, you know, going into water, if it's reading a book, or if it's talking to crew Mel, you need to make sure you develop that toolkit so you can, you know, you can strengthen yourself and waver the waves. Because, like, you know, life's a roller coaster. It has its ups and downs. We cannot forget that or deny that. It won't always be easy. Life changes. Things like people passing away, all those things affect people with depression much harder. But if you have a strong tool base, and also one thing I'm going to say is make sure you surround yourself with the right people, because when things get hard, you want to make sure you have those people around you that you're going to be strong. And just remember to listen to someone who's got depression. Try to understand them. Don't judge or tell them that what they're going through. It's fine. Don't worry. It's just in your head. And the comments like this it's not going to help that person. When you're suffering depression, you just need to make sure the person's there to pat you in the back. Give you a hug. Tell them you love them. That you love them for who they are. Like I always tell my wife, it doesn't matter what she says, does, or anyone really that I've decided I love does. I'm always going to see them as the same person, and I want the same thing done for me. I'm going to make some mistakes when I have depression. I might act out. I might get frustrated. I might get emotional. Just be there for the person. It's not easy when you're suffering these things. It's a chemical imbalance. It's incredibly hard. I cannot describe how difficult it is to live with mental illness and how hard it is on your mind and your body. It's draining sometimes, and it's just incredibly difficult. So just try to understand, or just be there for the person. You may not, when I say understand, you may not truly understand what they're going through, but just trying to is the important part.
So let's just sort of recap here, Lance, because I think there's some great stuff there, some great stuff to unpack. So in terms of your own development and some of the things that you did, you talked about being close to water. That was really powerful for you. You talked about having a really good network of people. These are all great things that people could write down and make notes about. Is there something else? Is there a third? Would you say that there's a top three?
Focus images. That was something that helped me. And I also had my dog. I don't have my dogs anymore because life didn't allow that. But at the time, my pug. I'll show it now. I have to. So I have this tattoo. Always winking. My dad is actually a great man, because he's given my pug that helped my life. He's giving her a better life now and taking care of her for me, because she's out in the country now, and she's enjoying life, snoring on my dad's lap. So, just having focus images and just, support around you, whether that's a dog, a lizard, or whatever it is. If you need that, then you get that emotional support through that animal or whatever it is. I used to focus on images because I had a lot of social anxiety at one point, where I would have a hard time in crowded places, buses and stuff like that. So I'd actually look at pictures of my dog whenever I was on the bus. It helped me. It made me laugh. It made me, it soothed me. You need to really everyone's healing is going to be different in what they need. But definitely, I think there are some common themes and methods that can help anyone. So, and just talking about it too, talk about it. Find someone you can talk to. Talking about it out loud helps. And if one thing an example, I'm just going to say it as being a man, is I always thought crying was something you didn't do, but crying is okay too. Cry. You need to cry. You need to cry. You need to shed some tears. You need to shed some tears. It helps. Those tears, you're letting a little bit go every time. Whatever it is, if it's exercise, take care of your health. If you have mental illness, you need to try to eat healthy. You need to try to exercise if you can. I'm actually about close to 100 pounds less than I was during my worst time in my mental illness. And just having that 100 pounds off has been incredibly beneficial to my health, mental health and physical health. And just never deny, it's not going to help if you just pretend that you're okay. If you do that, then you're going to get stuck.
Yeah. So
don't get stuck. If you're hearing this and you haven't talked to anyone, or you haven't said it out loud, go outside and scream it if you have to. Or go into a forest and scream, I have mental illness, but it is not me. It does not define me. So.
Wonderful. So powerful, Lance. I'm the most quiet. This is the most quiet show I've ever had. And it's because I wanted the opportunity to, And I really felt what you had to say, the start of the show and sharing your story. And you know, I mean, look, I said it last week, Lance, and I don't know if you watched the show last week, but I said that I could not stomach what happened in Kamloops, BC. And I was quiet about it because whenever I do feel something so powerful, I kind of go a little bit introspective just to check in with myself, to be aware of my own energies. And
well, this is, you know, going to the Kamloops, BC, you know, is a terrible thing, but this is home with me. My wife is Indigenous, and I'm actually going through the process soon of getting my status card. I will be identified as Indigenous when I'm done. You know, a part of depression too is understanding generational damage. You know, it's something that exists.
That's a big one.
So,
can you expand on that a little bit, Lance?
Generational damage essentially means that the mental illness and damage that has been carried on through generations. So, like your parents, the grandparents, and it's affected you as a child, and that cycles can, you know, not never ended. So, generational damage has, you know, a lot of impacts in our life, and it's something that we cannot deny that. You know, depending on where you're from or your history, that generational damage is going to be stronger than some.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not going to speak for Indigenous people or anything like that, because that's just not my place. But there's definitely, you know, the world is full of generational damage, and it's something that has to be talked about. You know, so it's like mental illness doesn't just come from one individual. I think typically a lot of the times it comes from like our history. So,
of course.
Yeah.
And you know, and that's the power. So what I can say very confidently, Lance, is that you're the guy who's going to not bring that forward. That's what I would say to you. If we were in a coaching session, Lance, what I would say to you is that you're the guy. You're the guy that's going to stop the generational pain, you know, so that your daughter doesn't have to feel that.
Well, so not to interrupt, but it was a big thing that I used to always tell myself when I was going through my healing process, that I would not allow my daughter or anyone to be affected by my issues or my past, and that I would find a way to make sure that I would be a stronger person so I can end that cycle. So, you know, and I'm really calm when I say that, because I know that I'm a much better man and different person than I was going into this. And I still have some work and personal development that I want to do, but I'm definitely going to make sure that my daughter does not have to go through the you know, the hardships that I had to mentally and stuff like that. And she's going to know that she's got her dad here and a strong family, and I'll be there to provide for her physically, mentally, financially, and I'm gonna, you know, be here for all my kids. You know, I have kids through marriage and stuff too. You know, I'm going to be here for everyone. And that's, like you said, I think a big part of my healing process too is that I try to give back as much as I can to everyone around me, whether it's the shirt off my back or whatever it is. For me, giving has been a part of my healing process too. It makes me feel great. And it's not, you know, sometimes you do things for yourself. I give to others and do whatever I can because it makes me feel better and it helps me as a person. And I'm a better person for that. It doesn't matter whether that person appreciates it or not, but it helps me. So, and part of that crypto journey, by the way, is that I'm going to use it to help people too. So,
well, I've seen your number. Like, I mean, I know the number that you want to try to reach, and it's a number, let me tell you. So
I'll be hitting that in believe it or not, I found out when we did our math, I'll be hitting that number in 1 month, every month, once this project's done with clean energy that I want to do. And I haven't even told you that yet. So.
No, see, that's hot off the press because I don't even know that.
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you, Lance, for all of that. I have to say, you're a remarkable young man. I'm honored to call you a friend, a brother. I get the pleasure of chatting with you virtually on a daily basis, and I love that you have really. You stuck it to mental illness, man. You stuck it to it. You know, you stuck it to depression. You stuck it to PTSD.
It doesn't own me or define me. It's just a part of my life. That's it.
And acceptance, you know, that's part of what I've talked about with some of my clients, that it's about accepting that whatever you went through is part of your story. And the minute that we can accept this as part of our story, the quicker we can move on and start living in the present so we can build a better future.
Exactly.
So I'm really honored. I'm so grateful. Do people still say, like, is it wrong to say thank you for your service? I mean,
I don't like, I always tell people, because it was a part of my past, I don't try to identify by my service, and I don't expect anything from it. So like, I'm kind of me now, and this is the new Lance, and anything that kind of happened in my past is neatly stored away now, because I've let it go. But definitely, I'm definitely Lance, the crypto guru. My service doesn't define who I was either, nor have any impact on where I'm going with my future. It's just a part of it. So,
just part of the story, man.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Good for you. Well, I mean, Lance, we're almost there. I just want, again, thank you. That's all I have to say is thank you. You're an amazing human being. I love you dearly. You're such a special guy, and I'm grateful that I get to. If we go back to my blog about life being a TV and us being the directors of our movies, we get to choose our adventures, and then we also get to choose the cast that we want to hang around. And so, if I can take a moment, Lance, just to say, I'm grateful that I got a guy like Poutine Nation and Josh that is here and always supporting. He's a wonderful man. You guys would hit it off famously. I know it. He's a remarkable man who's always giving of his time. We've got Sandra Mio, who is, they don't make women like this anymore. I mean, she's a remarkable woman.
I can't wait to taste some of the rum cake. So she's a part of CKG, by the way. She joined.
Yes, the rum cake.
I'm going to really
queen.
Be there to help you. But I got to taste some of that rum cake too. So I can't wait to meet you in person. So.
Yeah. And to your dad, thank you for being here.
Yeah, he's an inspirational person as well. He really changed as a father and was there for me when I really needed him to be. And he's been a great part of my life. And if it wasn't for my dad, I don't know where I'd be in this world, because the man that was supposed to step up for me didn't. He did, and forever grateful for that. And he's a highly intelligent and amazing man. My family is great in general. I love. Shout out to all my family. My mother. My stepmother, my sisters, my brothers, and my household in general. I have a very good household, and the biggest shout out right now to Crew. If you're not getting coaching from him, you're crazy. If you don't talk to him, you're crazy. I'm sorry, I hate to use that word, but look, he's a good person. He's a good friend, and he's going to be a good coach. There's no other words for it. Start talking to him. Look, you could always grow on yourself. It doesn't matter who you are, and you need help with growing, and he's the man to do it with. So
thank you, Lance. That means a lot. And just to kind of add to that, I would just say, one of the things that has come, some clarity that has come to me this week in working with my brand strategist, Tom Gardner, is that, I'm about leaders. Lance, and I help leaders, and I help people who are ready to become leaders. So take a look at like at who's on. Poutine Nation is a leader. Rum Cake Queen is a leader. Sandra Mio is a leader. We're all leaders in our own right, and this is who I'm attracting in my life. So I love it. And Rum Cake Queen, there's a few people who need to try a little bit of that Jamaican love, girl. So you're gonna have to spread the love. I'm just saying. Gotta spread the love. We need to try a little bit of Jamaican love in Christine's Rum Cake Queen. I love it.
You're making me crazy, man.
You're making me crazy, man.
Yeah.
There it is. To join Lance's crypto. Let me just show this, Lance, so people can get the info. So I'll share it onto the screen. Go to CKG Gurus, Facebook.
Shoot me a message on that. I always recommend that we talk in person on the phone, so we could get to know each other a bit before we get into the adventure. I'm going to be here to support everyone. Learning about crypto is not only that, but supporting you and building you up as a person as well. People like Crew are part of the community. This is where you're going to do it. This is where you're going to build a future, and a strong one at that. So come out and learn.
You're awesome. Lance, you're fabulous. On a scale of 1 to 10, you're about a 12, buddy.
Thank you. Right back at you. Ditto. So.
Thanks, brother. I'm just going to bring you backstage and give my final thoughts. But again, you rock, brother. Thank you for such a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful 90 minutes.
Bye, everyone. was nice. It was nice meeting everyone. Look, I can't even talk right now. So it was nice meeting everyone. Bye. Yeah.
Much love, brother. So, what do you think, folks? A little bit of everything, kind of like what us Italians will call a good minestrone soup. You know, something that has everything in it. It had tears, it had joy, it had passion. That's what we do here at the Coffee and Biscotti Show. That's what this is about. This is about, and I'm going to tell you something, Putti Nation, I got something for you. Somebody said to me that if you're doing coaching with yours truly, that you should be on the show, and that should be part of the deal. Is that as you go through your process of getting more clarity, more balance, developing more awareness in your life, that part of what you do is you come out and you be on the show. I love it. I'm going to do it. The fire, you know it, Putti Nation, it's fire. So I hope with all the energy and all the might that I can muster up, that this interview, this show gets out, and that one person is going to listen to what Lance had to say about his journey through mental illness, PTSD, abuse, that someone's going to listen to this and be inspired by his words, to be inspired by his journey and how he has come out of it. And, you know, it's an alignment. It's in true alignment with what I believe, folks. And that is, we are here to serve our brothers and sisters. And the fact that Lance has chosen cryptocurrencies as a way to help people, especially with something that we all have stress over, and that's our finances. I run an anonymous invite-only space for men, and one of the pillars is wealth. And I can't tell you the stuff that goes on in this group about how people understand the stress of money, and the people who have had struggles because of COVID, and what this pandemic has done to families and businesses, and the loss of people that mean something to them. And so that's why all of these things exist. That's why the Coffee and Biscotti Show exists. Lance is a true embodiment of what I wanted to do with this platform. I am really blessed, and I'm grateful to him for taking the time. Grateful for all of you in the Twitchiverse. Thank you for being here. Shout out to Lily, who I'm so glad has come back into my life. She's a wonderful, wonderful woman, wherever you are. If you're listening, thank you for all your positivity. And I just want to share with you, of course, next week's show. We got a good one, guys. Next week, Anthony Patrick Manieri. I just finished Talks Talk. Just this past Wednesday, I was on his show, and he's going to be on the Coffee and Biscotti Show next week. Guys, you're going to love him. He just loves to go at it. He has no problem with talking about controversial things. He's a world-class photographer. He's been on the Cathis and Regis and Kathy Lee, or what's it called now? Regis and Kathy Lee's no longer there. I don't know. I don't watch TV. Regis and whoever Regis Feldman's partner is on the show. But he's been on that show. He's got this project that he's been working on for years called Arrested Movement, talking about male body image. And it's just fabulous. So I hope, no, Regis is no longer there. Whatever, before, when he was on Putti Nation, thank you. But in the meantime, folks, I hope that wherever you are in the world listening, I send you love, and send you this energy of today's show, and that you welcome that energy into your hearts and share it with those who are in need, those who are poor in spirit, those who need love. Reach out, and if you're full of love, share it with those who need it. And thank you again for joining us. Josh, right away, my brother. If you're interested, are we doing some music today? If we are, Josh, stick around, folks. We're going to raid to someone's channel, maybe some fabulous DJ that, of course, Josh always sends us to. And a little sort of last shout out to Rosie Tozy for always being with me and doing all the poster work. Thank you so much. From my heart to yours, peace out.